Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today is Thursday, May 11th. This is Shooting from the Hip, and I am one half of the hosts here on Shooting from the Hip. My name is Pete Wall, and you can always find me on Pillar to Post. My co-host, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Of heavyweight. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Not too bad, you know
Having
me.
a good day?
Now, we seem to
For the most part.
experiencing some technical difficulties once again with Skype. My co-host is suddenly...
Yeah, if anybody has any... Can you hear me, Pete?
I can hear you.
All right. I was just saying, if anybody who's watching or watching this video later on knows something else we can use besides Skype, because it's been shit the last couple of weeks. And I know I wasn't here last week. I got to apologize for that. I had some medical issues I had to take care of. So I'm back now, though, and I'll be posting videos, you know, after every show, just like I was before. So.
Now,
Where do you want to start off with?
well, first, I think we should start off with our sponsor. Today's show is being brought to you by Audible.com. Now, Audible.com, like I said, is our sponsor. They're both our sponsors. And if you use the link that we're going to supply you, www.audibletrial.com/pillar-to-post. And what's yours?
Slash heavyweight Mark.
Yours is heavyweight Mark.
That's fine.
All right. So if you use
slash heavyweight Mark.
if you use those links, it will bring you to audibletrial.com, and you'll be able to use their services for 30 days for free. Also, you get one free audio book, and it can be anything of your choosing. There's a lot of wrestling autobiographies, there's fantasy fiction, science fiction, you name it, they've got it. Look into it. It's not just a benefit to us, it's a benefit to you as well, because you're getting a kickback from using this service. Now, today on Shooting from the Hip, we're going to discuss this week in wrestling. And as you can see, you can't see my co-host at all for this moment. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but you are not being seen, buddy.
Well, I'm not sure why. I should be working just fine. I don't have anything, as it were, I don't have anything running in the background or anything. I think we're just Skype's having some issues, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Are you able to see me on the Skype app itself?
No, it's just buffering by the looks of it. Now we've got two.
Well, you guys.
We've got two viewers, so hello to those two viewers at the moment. Just make sure that you're not afraid to comment or anything like that, because we're very well open couple of dudes, and we're trying to have some fun here. Now, I'm going to let you go on your review of Raw, or what did you want to discuss at first, Red?
Well, I wanted to discuss Roman Reigns talking about Rosie's passing. He's remained silent until now, and it's been almost a month ago.
Okay, you wanted to talk about his comments on who? On Rosie?
On Rosie passing, his brother Matt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his brother Matt. He
Now,
just said that it's been a rough couple weeks, and it's just one of those situations where there's a lot of mixed feelings when you live in a big family.
yeah.
Everybody's able to come together. You know, he said, just quoting a couple things here. I'm not going to read the whole thing out loud. It's the same connection we have in our family that most people usually don't have with theirs. So it's extremely sad. It was an extremely sad weekend. It's been really tough. Everyone's grieving. And then he said he wanted to thank everybody for reaching out and all the support that he found, even though people boo him. He said, physically, I'm as beat up as I am emotionally. It's been the roughest 2 weeks of my professional career and life. I've never experienced a loss this close to me. This is the only time I've had a blood brother die. He said, and then he went on to say that he sees his cousins as brothers and sisters as well.
Yeah. Well,
so I guess you could say the Anunnaki family are very, very family-oriented people.
Well, that they are. You know, they're raised up in the business.
At least we.
Oh, but
you gotta look. I don't know. I don't like Roman's character, but I felt for him as a human being at that point. You know.
Well, like I've said all along, I don't hate the man. I hate the push behind the man. I hate the creative behind the man. The man, Roman Reigns, I don't hate on. I hate everything that they've put behind him that doesn't work, and them, you know, pushing him down our throats constantly. That's what I hate about Roman Reigns. I don't hate the man personally, and you cannot hate on a man because family of his passed away. That would just be wrong.
I've seen people say, you know, F Roman, who cares? In a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in. And for me, that was so disrespectful. I can see why some wrestlers don't like fans, like Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Well,
he's not a wrestling fan anymore, and he doesn't even like his fans. So
we've managed to get your image back in the screen, so that's a plus. We're still having some technical difficulties around it. You're frozen at the moment, but at least we've got an image there where you're supposed to be. Now, if you look back in this week of wrestling, you look at what happened on Raw, you look at what happened on SmackDown, and SmackDown just barely beat Raw this week, just by a cunt hair. Just by a cunt hair. But all around, it was complete shit. Do you argue, Red?
Absolutely. You know, the absolute best show they had this week was NXT.
Definitely. Well,
and that seems to be a trend currently. So at least we know Paul Levesque isn't out of touch, but Vince McMahon is.
No, well,
you know?
if you look at us, Red's wearing red and I'm wearing blue, and that shows that who we represent when it comes to the main brands. But I was telling Red before we aired that I was really thinking strongly about just switching all to yellow, because Jesus Christ, you get an hour show and it is topping everything the main brand does, and yet Raw is considered the A brand and SmackDown considered the B brand. Everyone argues that SmackDown's the A brand, but if you really look at it, that one small little show called NXT is the gold brand. I think I nailed that on the head.
Somewhere like Z, in all honesty, 205 Live has never been good, and I don't. At this point, I don't know if it's going to get good or not.
No, I don't know. I don't have much hope in it.
You watch 205? Well, it's because Mr. Man doesn't know how to do cruiserweight wrestling. That's all it is. He's got his style of light heavyweight, and it's just not going to work out for him.
I agree fully.
WCW. Anybody that doesn't
WCW was where the cruiserweights were.
WCW, Ring of Honor. Both of those do better cruiserweight than them, you know?
I fully agree. Fully agree. Now, I'm going to let you let you talk about the good points and the bad points of what went down on Raw this week, and I'm gonna let you take the lead on this. Won't interfere until you ask me my thoughts, and go for it, bro.
All right, well, we start out, and, Dean Ambrose comes out. He says he's the interim general manager. Kurt Angle's not going to be there. Now, I don't know if Kurt Angle had a visa problem or what happened there, but I really enjoyed watching wrestlers take hold of the show for once. They used to do it back in the day, and they haven't done it in a long time. They used to let wrestlers make matches, challenge each other, and it actually happened. Nowadays you have a general manager and a commissioner because, we need so much authority, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. But then Miz comes out, and he's all, well, I talked to Stephanie McMahon, and that's where you don't even remember her since WrestleMania. It's like maybe the first time she's at, that her name's been put out into something, other than Stephanie McMahon was hurt by Seth Rollins. Even though we all know that Triple H, hit her. Yeah, Rollins kicked Triple H, but that's Hunter's problem. He should have learned how to stand up, and for that matter of fact, why was she even up on the ring apron? It's a no disqualification match. Why didn't she have a chair in her hand and already in the ring or something?
At that
point of WrestleMania, yeah. What's that?
She could have taken her shoe off and nailed him with the heel, That would have been something.
Literally anything. But no, we need to write Stephanie off of TV, so let's do it at the biggest fucking show of the year. The fuck, man. And then we had Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. And for me, I think that was the best card on, the best match on the card for me. But at the same time, why do they keep putting these two together? Joe's supposed to be a monster. He's supposed to not lose to anyone. That's my viewpoint on Joe. And then Rollins, they're trying to build him up too. So just putting those two together hurts both of them. This 50-50 booking shit has to quit if they want their company to succeed. Not everybody can be a top guy.
I agree.
And they don't see it that way. They think everybody to be equal and average. And the other problem I have is Sheamus and Cesaro winning the shake-up, or what was it called? Tag Team Turmoil?
Yes,
is that right?
It was. Yep.
Why make a big deal about Gold Dust and R-Truth? Not that I like R-Truth, but still. Why make a big deal? I mean, they should give Dustin Reynolds some kind of a push. He's not going to be around much longer. He's been wrestling since the 80s. Why not give him some kind of a push where he at least gets like an intercontinental title again or something? Instead, no, let's stick him. We hate the Rhodes family. They fucked us over in the 80s. Fuck them. And that's just where I see it. Vince cannot let anyone be greater than him, and people think that Dusty Rhodes books wrestling better than Vince McMahon. Therefore, let's bury the Rhodes family. Yes, he is getting a lot of money, and he has been with the company a long time. But look what they did to Cody. They ruined Cody, and I'm tired of seeing Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Hardys. Yes, I realize this is a new feud, but at the same time, I'm not into it. I want to see Sheamus not be in a tag team. I want to see him be a singles wrestler. I want to see him win the title. I loved him back when he was in Ring of Honor, back when he had hair. You ever seen a picture of Cesaro with hair?
No, actually I don't.
No?
No, I don't.
Well, he looks a lot like you with hair.
You fucking asshole.
I don't know if Pete's ever said this on his show, but he was telling me a story. Was it your wedding, Pete, or were you at a wedding?
My wife. I've only been married once.
Mr. Big Show.
Yes. Yes, the whole Big Show bit. Can you hear me, buddy?
Absolutely. It's funny as hell. What's that?
I asked if you can actually hear me.
Why don't you go ahead and throw that out and tell that story real quick? That's a funny story.
You want me to tell the story? Well,
I do. They deserve to hear funny things, you know?
okay, this is how it all went down.
Don't be selfish.
This is how it all went down. I moved into a small town when I first moved to the area I'm in now. And I had a hairstyle very similar to Big Show's. I had a goatee very similar to Big Show's. Not that it was purposely done, but my future wife at the time, her brother, all of his buddies, assumed I was the Big Show from WWE. And I was like, dudes, smoke a little less pot, drink a little less beer, and you will know that I am not that guy. Well, I finally had them convinced I wasn't the Big Show. Then they go see a WrestleMania event at a bar. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was 18 or 19. It was the one with The Rock versus Hogan. And
was 18.
Out comes the Big Show. They all jump up from their table in the bar, and they start screaming, "We fucking knew it! Pete's the Big Show! He's at WrestleMania!" And they got home, like, well after the bar closed. And they came over to our place, woke us up, and they were convinced that I had made it back from Toronto before them, sleeping comfortably in bed, and healing up from the night's wrestling, you know. And I was able to convince them once again that I was not the Big Show. It took months, but me and my wife got married. At our wedding day, this guy showed up that wasn't even invited. And he was about 5'8", about 300 pounds. Me, I was about 250 pounds at the time. And I'm 6'2", and he comes up to, well, he splashed mud all over my wife and her cousin. My wife's in her reception gown. And hand-tailored by my mother, by the way, you know. So I went out there and I confronted him, and I tell him, look, you either get your ass off my property or you're going to get hurt. Well, imagine this guy, 350, 5'8". He rips off his shirt like Hulk Hogan, and he gets right up into my face, and he goes, "Come on, Big Show, let's see what you got." And I chuckled at first. And he decided to grab me by the throat. So my instinct was, you know, just grab him by the throat, push him off a little bit, and I held him. Well, instead, I wrapped my hand right around his windpipe. And I clamped on. I wasn't letting go. If he would have pulled back, I would have ripped out his throat. Well, he throws a punch that missed me by a good 2 inches. I lost it. I fucking I remember punching him in the face. And then all of a sudden I've got someone, I thought it was my dad. He's got a hold of my arm, pulling me back, and says, "You got to stop or you're going to end up spending the rest of your life in jail." So I let go. And there's this poor motherfucker, bludgeoned, you know, bloody right the fuck. Blood all over my dad's shop door. And I've got another beer bottle in my hand. And supposedly what happened was I broke one over his head, which I don't know how I got. And I don't know where I grabbed the second beer bottle from, but I was going to slam the bottom of the bottle right in his face. I was going to put him out of his fucking misery. But I guess in the end, it didn't help matters, because I guess I choke slammed him onto the ground, and then I guess somehow picked up a beer bottle and started creaming him with it, and picked up another one to finish him off. So everyone after that was, you know, I'm the Big Show. My wife's only thing about it was, well, at least I got to see you in a fight. So that is the story of the whole Big Show bit. I still don't see it where I'm supposed to resemble Big Show as much as they claim I do, but you know, big stories for big men, I guess.
Yeah, I could see that. You know, and then you both went bald, you know, the whole bald look afterwards.
Yeah.
You sure you're not idolizing the Big Show, man?
No. The baldness is actually lack of hair growth, man.
I don't know.
No. Total lack of hair loss. That's what it's all about. You know, but then I could say, you know, when Big Show disappeared for that little bit, he came back with his full-grown beard while I was already sporting that long before him. So I think the Big Show's following me and mimicking what I look like.
You heard it here, folks.
No.
Big Show gets his fashion tips from Pete Wall.
Well, we kind of dress alike, you know. We'd like to dress comfortable. But
anyway,
never
that's what I was saying.
Go for it.
Just to continue on where we were, the tip. I'd love to see Cesaro, you know, with a singles title, like a big title, because he deserves it. Honestly,
I would too.
He's over, and he can actually run. And yeah, sorry I had to go off on a tangent there. I wanted, you know, that was a funny ass story you were telling me after we went off the air. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
But besides that, for Raw, you know, Balor fighting the Miz. Miz plays a cowardly heel, and I understand why people like him now. I didn't understand until very recently. It was overall, that was pretty good. It was a good segment, but it wasn't any good wrestling during the match. Finn Balor botched the coup de grace. I don't know if anybody else noticed that he botched it. I seriously thought the Miz was hurt, the way he landed.
Yeah, he kind of looked like he landed full weight.
Is what it is. He did look full. I thought that his sternum was broke, man, for a second. And I know everybody loves Finn Balor, and Finn Balor did great in Japan. But that's a completely different style. That's real wrestling. This is like bullshit wrestling. On all honesty, that's what WWE's become. Like, it's not 1984, Vince. What the fuck are you doing? It's not 1995 either. Fuck off, man. It's like, at least Linda McMahon had the balls to step down. When are you going to do so, Vince? You know, that's how I feel about it. Then the women's match, you know, the six-man tag on, excuse me, not six-man tag. Was it a six-man tag, or was that last week?
No, I'm
looking at my notes here.
I know Alexa Bliss fought. See, this is my problem with wrestling these days. Nothing nothing is memorable.
That's the problem, man. It used to be I would watch wrestling, and the next day, you know, I talked to all my friends about it, and people at school, and now it's like, you know, what the fuck did I just watch? That's where we're at right now. And they can say it's a slump after Mania, blah, blah, blue, fuck this. There should never be a slump. There didn't used to be a fucking slump. The fuck's going on? But another person I'd like to see with the title is Nia Jax. I'd really like to see her versus Alexa Bliss, but that didn't happen with Mickie James. And I don't think it's going to happen with Nia Jax unless, you know, something massive is going to happen. Isn't Nia Jax The Rock's cousin too?
Yes, she is.
I believe she is. You know? So, born to wrestle, you know? Gonna wrestle. The entire family. They get spit out of the womb knowing how to wrestle, it seems. The entire fucking family.
Yeah.
And that's what else I noticed. Like, there are that family is really dominating wrestling right now. And I don't think people realize how much. You know? We got Roman Reigns, The Rock, Nia Jax, the Usos, and we have Naomi, who's married into the family, but still she's part of the family. And if you think otherwise, fuck off. You know? And I don't even... Is there anybody else that's in there right now who's actually part of the main roster right now?
You mentioned the Usos.
I don't think there is, but still, I did both of them, and then Naomi.
Yeah.
She's married, I don't know which, I think she's married to Jay, right? Is that right?
Man, I don't keep track, really. My girls just started watching the Divas show. And it annoys me so badly.
20 minutes that
It annoys me so badly. I told my wife, I said, I'm going to the back room messing around on my computer. I'd rather sit in the laundry room than listen to those fucking bitches prattle on like they do. You know, my girls love it. You know, to them it's entertainment. To me,
you know, it's so scripted.
Yep.
It's not real. It's supposed to be a reality show, but WWE hasn't told us who's going to be in the match. Blah blah blah. That was the season finale this week, and I caught it came on after NXT. So I flipped the channel for a minute. I was like, what is this about? And Natalia's on there. We don't know who it's going to be. WWE hasn't told us who we're facing yet. We have to prepare with a mystery partner. This isn't fair. And obviously it's going to be fucking the Bella, you know?
Yep.
Like, no fucking brainer. And speaking of Bellas, me and Pete, I'm going to go ahead and say this on behalf of Pete, whether he likes it or not. We would like to congratulate Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella on queefing out a birdie. So, congratulations on queefing a birdie.
Okay.
In 20 years, we'll all be watching her probably.
Okay, I'm gonna take over for Raw, my review of Raw, if you don't mind.
Well, my overall grade for Raw is a D+ this week.
Okay, well, I'm
to
gonna
let you know.
I'm gonna go off on a little rant, if you don't mind. So
have at it, sir. I've taken up enough of their time.
Okay, I'm gonna put my smoke down, and I'm gonna give it to you straight. You had 3 top pay-per-view quality matches on Monday Night Raw, and you managed to make them as boring as fucking watching shit dry outside in the sun. I don't understand this. Because you have Finn Balor versus The Miz, which should have been an excellent fucking match. Worthy of a fucking pay-per-view. And you managed to screw that up to the point where I fell asleep through the match. I had to wake up in the middle of the night and rewatch Raw because you bored the fuck out of me. And then I find out they had, who else was it? Name one of the matches, because I can't fucking remember them. They had Finn Balor
Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose. I did bring it up because it was horrible, man.
They had Dean Ambrose versus who?
I didn't want to bring it up. Versus Bray Wyatt.
There we go. So another match that could have been excellently performed. Excellently. You have the ability and the skills and the mind of Bray Wyatt. And then you have him with an opponent that is supposed to be this lunatic fringe, but he comes off as a lazy fucking cunt. Now, I'm not saying their match was totally bad.
People say sure you think lazy.
Red, I'm going to put you in your place.
You
Shut
know?
up. I'm ranting. No, I'm just saying. You had the mind of Bray Wyatt, the skills of Bray Wyatt. Obviously, Dean Ambrose is a lot more talented than he is. He can perform a lot better than he does. And we got, at most, a C-grade match from the two. And then you have Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins. And I don't know how many botches I found in that match. Their fight in the backstage area. Did you remember that? It looked like they were barely touching each other. And we are supposed to pass it off.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think they were touching each other.
We're supposed to pass it off as believable entertainment. And frankly, I can tune into NXT and have, in that 1 hour, a better reaction, a more exciting reaction than I do in 3 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown. So 1 hour does better than 5 hours in total. Tell me how that is right. How can an NXT, or I should say a feeder brand, be outdoing you in performers and excitement and entertainment than 5 hours of what is called the main brands? Frankly, I think Vince McMahon needs to get Kevin Dunn's balls out of his fucking mouth and actually either retire or start looking at the product like the fans look at it. And then maybe he would realize what kind of fucking crap he's putting on television. Yeah, I think I got my point across. What do you think, Red?
Yeah. You know, I didn't say it, but I fell asleep during Raw too. I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and had to rewatch.
You know, and there's a point, there's a point why Red wears.
I've always been a huge fan of Raw.
Yeah. Like, there's a point why Red wears the red and I wear the blue, because I love SmackDown, he loves Raw. But at this moment, we want NXT to actually be 2 hours and actually give us, and we know what we're going to get from them. Wrestling.
Well, it's a question of sponsorships. And there's a whole network issue. And USA, I don't know if they have something to do with wrestling being horrible, but it sure does seem that things they put on the WWE network are better than USA, honestly. So that's my take on that.
Like,
overall, I'm pretty upset with the week.
Well, and SmackDown was
in
no
general.
better.
I think the best match. SmackDown had a copy of Raw, and planted it.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, SmackDown was no better than Raw. We were giving one good match, and that was the main event, and the rest of it was mediocre. Mediocre at best. Now, giving us one good match...
less than mediocre.
Like, giving us one good match does not negate the rest of the show. We should be getting a lot more. It should be, even if it does a gradual build. You know, the first match is a little bit on the slow side, but it builds and builds until you get to the main event. These guys are supposed to be outperforming each other. They're supposed to be trying to beat each other in performances, and we don't get that anymore.
Until somebody and takes some of Vince's money, by taking his ratings, it's just not going to happen, Pete.
Oh, I know that
They're
very
just
well.
going to keep dishing out the same, just dishing out, and there's nothing's going to change. Absolutely nothing will change. And I'm sick about it. I'm upset about it. I'm sad about it. And I'm to the point right now where I really hope Billy Corgan does something with the NWA.
Well, it needs to be a company. It needs to be a company that has backing behind it. They need a lot of money in order to compete with what WWE can do. Now, I'm not saying that WWE is giving the best television, but they're putting so much money behind their product that no other company can even come close to doing what they do. Because right now it's all about the glitz and the glamour and not about the wrestling. It's all about entertainment and how fancy we can make the stage look and how big we can have the venue and, you know, what kind of stars can we have as our guest hosts and blah, blah, blah. It's all about that. It's not about wrestling. We need something that's well-rounded. It has the entertainment factor. It has the wrestling. It has everything behind it. Not just one-sided entertainment bullshit.
And not a Vince Russo brand, okay?
No, I would rather see...
If the next big thing in wrestling... I would. I'd love to see Eric Bischoff jump up and be like, hey, I'm going to run my own shit. I ran my own shit before. Billy Corgan should get with Eric Bischoff. But Eric Bischoff himself needs a fucking filter. He has so many good ideas, but every now and again, he has the shittiest idea in the world, and it just wrecks 6 months of television, you know? That's my problem with Eric Bischoff. Other than that, great guy, you know?
Well, he needs a couple of strong bookers at his side to tame him down.
That's very true.
Like
I believe part of what was wrong with WCW was the hierarchy, you know?
Yep.
They had a writing team, and they had bookers. You need to pick one. Writing team or bookers? Writing team or bookers? I'm going to say fuck the writing team. Stay with the booker. So...
No, I fully
agree. That's just my point of view, and I'm in the business, you know? But I've watched the business my entire life, you know? My first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 10. Like, that I remember vividly, you know?
Yeah.
That I was actually excited to watch. And I know you're farther back than me because you're an old fuck still.
I am 39 years old, you cock-biting motherfucker.
I'm 30, so...
Now, but you are right.
I
grew up during the 80s. I was born 77, but I remember the 80s wrestling. I remember the 90s, and I remember the early 2000s. And then that's where it started really going to shit. And I stopped I stopped watching wrestling for 5 years. And this is a guy that was so enamored with wrestling that I wanted to become a wrestler. At 19, I wanted to become a wrestler. I was in great shape. I was jogging every morning. I was weight training. I was making sure my body was limber. On top of that, I still held a full-time job. And I wanted to join wrestling school. And I was about to join that wrestling school when the accident happened. And my dreams were crushed. As for becoming a wrestler, my dreams were crushed. But I literally stopped watching wrestling. I would eventually look online, catch any news, see who was the champion at this point, and who, what was going on. And it's like, okay, this is still going on. It's still the same bullshit. And then I started watching podcasts, the results shows, the reviews, and that. And I came across two guys. I came across JD from New York 206, and I came across Rusty Jorgensen, who did the 411 show. And I made a comment the one day on Rusty's show, and I basically said something the wrong way. I meant to say it a little bit differently. Well, he went off on me. And after he went off, he goes, if you can do this better than me, then why don't you do your own show? Well, after that, we talked things out, and I told him, okay, this is what I was actually trying to say to you, like, because he had a habit of calling moves the wrong way. He would name like a backdrop a suplex or something stupid like that. So I called on him. I called him out on it the one day during his live stream, and he went off on me. And after that, I told him, okay, this is what I was trying to explain to you. I was trying to be funny. I was trying to joke around with you a little bit. And everything went smooth. And I started talking to him. And he goes, you know what? He goes, why don't you give it a try? He goes, you're going to suck when you first start. Because you're not used to looking at a camera and this and that. And he goes, give it a good try. So that's how I got started. And then I started watching, I started off with one of the pay-per-views right before I started actually doing my reviews. And I started right from there, and it's been going up and up every day of the week, you know? Did I lose you?
It's not just them. If you watch the commentary, there's a lot of wrong moves, wrong names for moves. And I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
Oh yes, most definitely.
But Byron Saxton has. I don't think he's ever watched wrestling before he started, actually commentating for wrestling. It seems, unfortunately.
Well,
he doesn't know the names of the moves. So
some of these guys should have never been at the commentator's booth to begin with.
I agree with you there. Absolutely agree.
Bad
it's
videos.
Just,
I'm just looking at our.
I don't know what to say. I'm looking at our chat, and I got no picture again.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at our stream health here, and we got to find out what the hell's going on.
That?
We got to find out what the hell's going on. Like at 8:41, we had excellent stream health, but all in all, it's been bad, and I don't know what the fuck we can do about it. I think it's Skype doing it again because you're gone. You're back again. Like this is an ongoing...
I'm here. I'm not. Where am I?
No, you're finally back on the camera, but I don't know what it is with Skype lately. It seems to be working good when we're not streaming. As soon as we're streaming, it goes fucked.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing. I don't know what the reason is behind it. Maybe you should just put a picture of me up next week, and we could just talk.
Yeah, but
or if you can find somebody who women might like to look at a bit more, and men don't mind looking at a bit more, you can throw that picture there.
Well, see, I put a picture of
like you said.
I put a picture of nude Charlotte Flair up, but that would turn our 2 watchers away,
Look, okay, there's that Larry the Cable Guy joke. I dated this one girl that had one boob bigger than the other. Yeah, we know who he was dating now.
Yeah. No, but
and I feel bad for her. She looks so on SmackDown, but still.
We joke about it and all.
You're worried about people naked. Take pictures of yourself.
Yeah.
So
we joke about it here and there, and it's not right on our part that we're joking about it. But when I have to look at a woman's breasts and go cross-eyed, it really worries me.
Man, that is so fucked up. Man, you got me crying. It's fucking.
Well, I figure YouTube's already broke.
Oh my god.
I might as well break it the rest of the way with my fucking
Wait a
attitude.
minute, if we do this, if I hold my head like this, it kind of looks like a normal picture. Yeah. Pete, have you tried holding your head like this, or even then?
Well, I guess, yeah, if you looked at it sideways, I guess it would be all right. My eyes wouldn't have to go all fucked up on me. They're going to start wondering, what the fuck are we doing? Turn their head sideways. Well, just imagine if you're looking at Charlotte Flair naked and you start getting cross-eyed. Well, if you want to get your eyes straightened out, just tilt your head to the side. Everything kind of evens out, and it's all good. And then, but the problem is you travel lower, and it's like you're looking at a guy that had a sex change.
Man, this leaked on May the 4th. And Chewbacca made an appearance in the pictures. So
yeah, I did.
That's all I got to say about that.
I did see your pictures that you censored out of. Yeah. No, but in all honesty, I don't know.
Just my opinion.
In all honesty, I don't know what to say about this whole thing. It's almost seeming like it's either a fad that's going around that the women are purposely releasing these pictures and videos, or it's actually some kind of locker room conflict where one does it to the other so the other does it back, or she gets it wrong, she thinks it was one of them, so she does it back to one of them, but just picks one, and then it's like one big shitstorm of nude virals going, online, and, we're somewhat enjoying ourselves because some of the women actually look like voluptuous women, and the other ones look like they had a sex change.
The only one that I want to see leaked is Nia Jax. It's just my opinion. But I don't know that's going to happen. She seems too self-conscious about herself. She wears a full bodysuit. And, she used to be a swimsuit model.
I know.
And she put on a little bit of weight, so she didn't model anymore. Now she's a...
Yeah, she spoke about her eating problem in one of the interviews, and her problem with losing the weight. So no, but
that's the ones I want to see. I want to see Nia Jax leaks next. So if anybody's pissed off at Nia Jax backstage, now's your time to make my day. If they exist.
We're going to get off the whole nude leaks and everything, and I want to ask you a question. What do you think of the rumor that Aleister Black might be making a main roster debut sooner rather than later?
Tommy End should have already been on the main roster. What the fuck were they thinking? But then again, why not put him on your best brand? So I understand they're putting him on their best brand. So there's that. He needs to be on their best brand,
Yes and no.
In all honesty, he is one hell of a wrestler.
See, I understand, like, you...
All right, well, let's hear... I don't know, man.
You followed him more on the indie scene than I did. I know a little bit about Tommy End, but Aleister Black is a whole new character. So he needs to be able to flesh...
I called him Tommy End again. What the hell is wrong with you? Damn it.
But, Aleister Black...
I will refrain from calling people their indie names. I'm so sorry if I offended you, Mr. McMahon.
Alright. So, my view on the whole... Aleister Black coming up to the main brand sooner rather than later. My problem, his character isn't fleshed out yet. We've seen him in tops maybe a 3-minute match. Tops. We haven't seen him fight anyone big. We haven't seen him go for at least 15, 20 minutes, even half an hour. And that's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what he can do against the main event players on NXT. Before I see him go up. I would like to see him at least be in NXT for a year, develop a character that is suitable to come up to SmackDown, and just go, be one of those top wrestlers that we know he can be. But if they move him up now, they're not going to know what to fucking do with them, and they're going to slap some stupid new gimmick on them that's going to ruin them.
Well, they ruin everything. So what's it matter? It doesn't matter where. If they ever move him, they're going to ruin him. That's exactly what's going to happen. They ruin the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family. Oh God, they ruined the Wyatt family when they brought him to the main roster.
Yeah.
Ben Balor got hurt right after he got to the main roster. Who the fuck are the Ascension? Have you ever heard of those guys? I don't know who they are.
I don't remember them.
They might have been a wrestler back, a couple of wrestlers back. Okay.
No, it is really sad to see that.
And it's just sad, man. They don't know what to do with anybody. It's almost like they don't give two shits. They're like, now drink this Sonic drink, okay? It's from Sonic. So you need to drink that on TV because they're going to give us money for you drinking the drink. And you guys over there, you guys need to drink only Mountain Dew. Drink Mountain Dew. And if you're not drinking Mountain Dew, add some food coloring to your water and drink Mountain Dew. You know, it's bullshit what they got going on now. And yeah, they need that to keep afloat because they can't fucking have good wrestling shows. I'm getting more pissed the more we talk about this. This week really opened my eyes to the fucking shit they're doing. You know what I mean?
Well, take this as an example, Red. We start bitching about how they're using tag teams, how they're not using certain tag teams. Well, what do? They throw them in a tag team turmoil match or a beat the clock match. So we get to see them for maybe 3 minutes in one match or 5 minutes and then 2 minutes in the next one because they're trying to beat the clock. Or they throw them in a tag team turmoil where it's basically they're running a gauntlet, so you're not going to have good matches to begin with. But then that's their answer, you know. It's like, okay, well, you got to see all the tag teams again, so shut your fucking mouth. And I can't accept it because...
Yay!
Because when I was brought up in wrestling, it was the tag teams that were the most important. The singles were secondary almost. The tag teams, because the tag teams matches gave you more time. You know, you got double the length of match because it was 4 guys wrestling instead of just 2. And now it's like, oh, we gave you 3 minutes of a tag team match. Shut up. Take it up the ass and go the fuck home.
I don't know. I'm really fucking pissed off. It saddens me greatly that, you know, they do absolutely nothing. It's like, okay. Growing up, not gonna lie, I wanted to be a wrestler just like you. I wanted to hold the tag team championship. That was my main thing. I used to backyard wrestle, and I know they say that's so horrible and there's such a fucking stigma behind it. But like, we weren't really wrestling. We were putting on a show for our other friends, you know. And I had a tag team partner by the name of Real Deal Ryan Steele, and I was known as Billy B. Dangerous, and that was like a playoff of Paulie Dangerously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I always wanted to hold the tag team titles. And to be honest, I didn't even want to hold the WWE tag team titles. I wanted to hold the WCW tag team titles. I was a WCW guy until Vince Russo put his fucking mouth into it and fucked the entire thing up and ruined the goddamn company and put him out of business. To this day, there is no way in hell you can get me to believe that Vince McMahon didn't send Vince Russo over there to fuck up the goddamn competition. No matter how mad Jim Cornette gets, where he rants about fucking Russo, I still fucking hate Russo because he's a shit booker. He was a shit booker in WWE, though.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can say that won't make me believe he went over there not to shut them the fuck down. if he didn't go over there and shut them the fuck down. He's the shittiest fucking wrestling personality to ever live. And that includes Gilbert. Gilbert has more wrestling skills and more wrestling knowledge than Vince Russo. There, I said it.
Okay, I want to talk to you about promos. You know I'm a promo guy, a good promo guy. Who was your favorite promo guy in WWE or WCW?
Roddy.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy could make you hate him. I hated Roddy Piper. I wanted to smack the living shit out of that man. I swear to God, Roddy Piper, I remember this. This is like 1996, 1997. He was bad-mouthing the NWO. And at this point, the NWO was so fucking over. I didn't think that it was ever going to leave. I thought that was going to be its own separate brand and break away from WCW, much like NXT. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
I thought that's what was eventually going to happen. I thought, and honestly, I thought that WCW was going to become the B brand. They had it that over. Like, I was in middle school and high school at the time, and we're sitting there talking about it, and then you watch it. All your friends gather around the TV to watch wrestling, and guess what? That doesn't happen these days. If I'm talking to somebody about I have a wrestling podcast or I do wrestling videos on YouTube, they're like, wrestling? You mean you still watch that shit? The last time I tuned in, it was horrible. And you know what? That's every fucking person I talk to about it. And I really don't know what the hell is going to happen with it in the future. Is wrestling dead? Yes, wrestling is dead. Can we kill sports entertainment and get a resurrection of wrestling? I don't know that that's going to happen. What do you think, Pete?
No, we're not going to ever see that again. I'm going to say my favorite guy, one of them was Dusty Rhodes. Obviously, you know that. My second guy was Jake the Snake Roberts. Because he wouldn't...
Oh, God.
He wouldn't yell.
I was afraid of him.
That's what I loved about him.
I was afraid of him as a child.
The way he could talk. He didn't
I had a rational fear of snakes for years because of that man.
Now, what I liked about him...
Seriously, I had such fear of snakes, and I'm from the country. So, you see a snake all the time. There's always snakes, you know? And he killed it.
Well,
killed everything. Anything they threw in front of him. You know, he was there, he did it, he made you believe he was fucking crazy. And the thing is, I still wonder if he is fucking crazy. You know? Second generation superstar, hell of a wrestler.
Now, even in the ring, his promos were smooth, they were calm for most of the part, and he even cut in a promo saying, a real man does not need to raise his voice to be heard. You can talk in a nice, calm, level voice, and everyone in that room will hear you. And that's the way his wrestling style was, too. It was smooth, it was calm. And then all of a sudden, bang, he hit you with that DDT, and you knew it was over. And then you flash forward.
That's something you do not anymore.
You flash forward 20-some years later, and the DDT does not work unless it's... Well, Dean Ambrose can't even get his fucking dirty deeds to win the match all the time. You know, the DDT used to be called the most devastating finisher in professional wrestling, and now it is a joke.
No, they do a DDT and then they flip up 3 seconds later because it was just a DDT. You know, and that's where we're at right now. Finishers don't mean shit. Everybody wants fucking false flag finishes, you know what I mean? And it kills wrestling. Yeah, it was cool when it first came out. All right, not gonna lie, but it doesn't need to stay. Wrestling needs to be progressive. It needs to change with the times. And right now, I'm looking at wrestling like it's the old hick, you know, that no offense to any good old boys or whatever the hell you want to call them, but you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. Say you're people that still use the word retard, you know, when they're talking about somebody who actually has mental disabilities. You know?
Yep.
Don't do that. It's rude. And wrestling is that. That's where I'm at right now. Wrestling is so backwards right now.
I'm gonna let you have the.
I just don't know. It's not wrestling. Let me rephrase that. Not wrestling as a whole, but WWE. WWE is so backwards now. They claim they have the best talent they've ever had, but they're not doing anything with them. So what are they going to do? How prove to me that's the best talent you've ever had?
I'm leaving
That's
Red the mic.
Prove
I
it.
wonder if you will hear this. Take control, and I'll be right back. This was God speaking.
All right. Are you there, bud?
I'll be right back. Take control of the mic.
All right, no problem. I don't know what's gonna happen with wrestling, guys. I'm sure as hell falling asleep during wrestling now, and it's not because I can't. You know, it's not like I don't know. It's not because it's not because of the reason that they don't have the talent. It's because they don't know how to use them. They're trying to do I like 1970s wrestling. Don't get me wrong, the format. But Vince McMahon is trying to mix the two together. Okay? You have to be progressive. You can't just say, oh, we're going to do this again. Yes, I understand we've done almost everything that you can do in wrestling, and we are going to see things repeated. Because, honestly, everything's repeated. You know, this isn't the only wrestling podcast on the internet. But, at the same time, we try to do things a little different here. We actually put our opinions out there. We put out, you know, stories about things that are going on. You know, but at the same time, we actually give our honest opinion. And I don't think that a lot of people do that. I think they keep a lot of things to themselves. I think that we try to be different than everybody else, you know, but we don't try hard. We're just ourselves. Other people are fake, I think. Well, not everybody. Some people are fake. They have scripted shows. They have catchphrases. I don't have a catchphrase. I mean, I say fuck off a lot. Sorry about that if you're a child, but it is what it is. Vince McMahon has to do something. I don't know what it is. I'm not a professional wrestler. I'm not a booker. I know that this stuff doesn't work, though. He needs to find somebody who does have, you know, experience. And he has the experience, but it's old experience. Would you rather have the 70-year-old doctor work on you, or the 40-year-old doctor work on you?
A young woman,
you may have the experience behind you, but after a while, that experience means... What's that? You back?
Yeah, I'm back. You can continue.
All right, I was just saying, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. After a certain point, you're gonna start doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's gonna become repetitive, and it's fine to repeat things, you know. But like I said, while you were gone, Pete, I said that, do you want the 70-year-old doctor working on you, or the 40-year-old doctor working on you? In your opinion,
I'd rather have a young miss giving me a sponge bath. Female, perhaps.
Oh no, you're definitely getting the biggest man we can find, the burliest, hairiest man.
Okay, how about we put this in an analogy that every guy out there will understand. It's like masturbating every night with your right hand, and after a while, it kind of feels like it's the same thing over and over again. So you switch it up with your left hand, add a little bit of lube, and oh my God, you're cheating on yourself.
You know, I've got a buddy, right? His Facebook profile picture right now is a picture where he drew eyes on his hand, right? And he's sitting there with his hand like this, and he's got a beer in his other hand, and it says, "Me and Bang having a drink." And that just made me think of that. And, you know, he's a really funny guy. He's the one I was talking about. I told him that I did a wrestling podcast, and he's like, "You still watch that shit? It's absolute shit now. How can you watch it? How can you report on it? It's boring now." And I got to tell him after this week, you know, falling asleep watching Raw, the only reason I didn't fall asleep during SmackDown is because I had somebody on my, you know, and by the way, Victoria Hurst Helmsley. That's her kayfabe name. That's what we're going to call her.
Okay.
If I didn't have her on my arm, I wouldn't even made it through SmackDown, to be honest. I would have fell the hell asleep. Just the same shit over and over. The best part is you haven't even done your SmackDown. Go ahead and do your SmackDown, Pete.
Well, I'm going to sum it up.
Lay it on us.
I'm going to sum it up really quickly. We had the top of the show. We had all the top guys that are going to be playing important roles in Backlash. Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, the Singh brothers. Who else was there? Doesn't matter. But we had them all come out. They all started there. And it ended up getting turned into the main event. 6-man tag match. And at first I was pissed off because, for one, I expected each of these guys to get individual matches that would push their storyline further going into Backlash. But after watching the match, I kind of calmed down because that match was a very, very good match. But I cannot accept one good match for 2 hours of wrestling. The rest of it was mediocre. That is all I have to say about the rest of the show. It was mediocre. I don't give a shit who is on there because I don't remember. And good wrestling, you remember. I cannot remember, without going to notes, I can't remember who wrestled on Thursday or on Tuesday night. Cannot remember, except for the main event. Why? Because they actually did something worthy of watching. The rest of the show wasn't worth pissing on. Now, did it fuel their storyline going towards Backlash? In a way, yes. Everyone went over well. Everyone took their licks. Everyone sold. It looked good, but it didn't really do anything for anyone. In all honest opinion, it didn't do anything for any one of them. It was a 6-man tag. They were all supposed to have big matches coming at Backlash, and it did nothing to sell Backlash. Absolutely fuck all.
Well, I feel you there, but in my opinion, the main event got the best you could have got was a B-.
Yeah,
in all honesty.
That's what I would have given it.
I was glad that Jinder Mahal getting over, pinning Randy Orton. Now you know that he's not going to get the title, definitely. They never let somebody get the title. You know, the first loss is going to be who's not going to win the pay-per-view, from what I've noticed in the last 3 years. That's how they're doing things these days.
And if they did it right, they'd have Jinder Mahal.
Part of the entire
if they did it right, they'd have Jinder Mahal win the title, because it would help boost him as a main eventer more. No, I don't like the guy, but I hate everything that Randy Orton represents when he holds that title. He is a boring, repetitive fuckwit.
He only gets where he's at because of his grandfather and his father. And I'm going to say he is probably the most boring human being. He's a fucking deserter. That's what fucking Randy Orton is. He deserted his fucking, he was in the military. He was a fucking deserter. He went to military prison. He was arrested and he was in jail. And nobody remembers that. He's just a boring motherfucker other than that.
Like, I'm not gonna take anything
don't
away
like
from the guy. Like, he's done quite a bit in his career, and at times he was that wrestler that you wanted to watch. At times, but for the most part, like, he recently did an interview, and he said although he's been called different things, the Viper, the Predator, the whatever have you, the Legend Killer, all in all, Randy Orton has not changed in his entire run here in WWE. Well, that says a lot about his attitude and his demeanor in the ring, because he doesn't want to change. He doesn't need to change his name.
And you have the balls to call him the Emperor.
He doesn't.
That's all I'm saying.
He doesn't need to change his name in order to reinvent himself, and that's what he's in sore need of right now: is in reinvention, a rebirth of Randy Orton.
He doesn't have the charisma to pull that.
You're breaking up, buddy.
This isn't Chris Jericho we're talking.
Chris Jericho's in the same boat.
This isn't Chris Jericho we're talking.
No, Chris Jericho.
No, he isn't. He's reinvented himself times.
Do you honestly call it reinventing yourself when you just come out with a clipboard and say, "You made the list"? Give me a break. That is not reinventing yourself.
No, his wrestling style has even been reinvented. He's added moves, taken moves away. He has changed his entire demeanor. He's been a singles wrestler to a tag team wrestler, then back to a singles wrestler. He has changed, even though he went back to a singles wrestler, that's still a huge change. Like you said, tag teams used to be the fucking thing. And now they're just like, oh, you want to see tag team wrestling? Here's a 3-minute match. Fuck yourselves, But he went from being the insecure heel at the beginning to now he knows he's the greatest thing that's ever lived. Like, that's progression, sir. That's fucking progression. Randy Orton started off as the Legend Killer, and now he kills himself because he's a legend, he thinks. That's basically it. Let me just kill my career now that I'm a legend.
Okay, you made a point when you were describing Chris Jericho. You said he's been a singles wrestler, a tag team, back to singles wrestler. Yes, he has done that, but he's done that throughout his entire career. His gimmicks have only changed slightly. He still talks the same, he still acts the same. He still calls himself Y2J after, the whole, bullshit came down after the year 2000. He's still going by Y2J. He still wears the gay-looking fucking scarf and, the gay light-up jacket.
He didn't wear a scarf. He started wearing scarves like 2014. Before that, he wore leather jackets and, when he first came out, he wore a T-shirt and his tights. He wore tights with kick pads.
Yeah,
now he wears fucking trunks. And you can say whatever you say. That's a change for a wrestler. Like Hogan, when he came out, he'd wear a fucking white cape and the fucking white trunks and the white boots, and then he changed to red and yellow and boom, boom, boom. Aren't I just the greatest fucking thing ever?
Well,
think about it.
I look at Chris Jericho in many different lights. He started off being a Shawn Michaels wannabe. He mimicked him to the point where it was god-awful. And then he finally came into WWE. His funniest moments were when he was antagonizing Stephanie McMahon. Other than that, all of his jokes have come off as pretty lame. The whole clipboard and the list is just boring to me. I don't see that as a reinvention. I see that as adding a prop and just a few lines of "You've made the list," okay? And me and you can disagree on this. It ain't gonna kill the show. But to say he's reinvented himself, no, I don't see it. He's still Y2J from when he became Y2J in 2000. It's the same guy. Exact same guy.
You didn't think that he was insecure? You didn't think he was insecure at the beginning, and now he's like very confident about everything?
Well, see, he's very confident about himself now because he knows it isn't going to matter if he loses his job now or not, because he's basically on his way out the door to begin with. And he's always got Fozzy to fall back on, so he's got that confidence.
Yeah, but if you look at it this way, I don't mean to knock on Jericho, but the only reason that Fozzy is even a thing is because of wrestling.
Yep.
In all honesty, yeah, I've been to a Fozzy show, but at the same time, I went because Jericho was there, and I had the chance to meet him, you know? But let's get back on where we were. Randy Orton is a boring motherfucker.
No, but yeah, everyone talks about Seth Rollins. Kind of, he needs to find himself. He doesn't really have a secure identity at the moment. Well, I see that in Randy Orton as well. I see that in Chris Jericho. They need to find themselves. They need to find a gimmick and a something that they can actually believe in. Now, you can say what you will about Chris Jericho. I'm going to leave him out of the subject. But right now, Randy Orton and Seth Rollins are in the same boat as me. They're both boring. They're both repetitive. They need to find and discover themselves and actually own it. Because right now, they don't own anything.
Yeah, they own medical bills.
They do that. So what was your take on SmackDown this week?
I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler get hurt more than Seth Rollins. Honestly. He's always fucking hurt. Yep. Always. But, no, as far as my rundown, just let me rant for a second about SmackDown, alright?
Oh, you go for it.
The best thing SmackDown has to work right now is the fucking fashion police, man. I fucking love those skits. They're going to be memorable. It's going to be one of those promos, I think, that I know they've only been doing it 2 weeks, and I don't know if they'll continue, to be honest with you, but I fucking love it. How about you?
I hate it. I hate it. I can't stand it.
Oh my god, but it's so bad. It's good for me.
The reason why I hate
the final deletion. What the fuck did I just watch?
Okay, let me explain why I hate the whole fashion police bit. Okay? Everyone, all the fans already calling them the fashion police. They are the fashion police in the audience's eyes. Yet they keep on calling them Breezango. On top of that, I know they are supposed to be outlandish and everything, but these vignettes that they're showing of them are so fucking lame, it is ridiculous. I don't know if it's because it's that stupid that I don't like it, or I just don't see the humor in it. I really don't. My opinion.
You don't like the Trailer Park Boys either.
No, I don't. I don't find that humor funny, I really don't.
I think it's funny because I know people like the Trailer Park Boys. But,
well, see, with me, it became repetitive.
In all honesty.
I like that the fashion police. I'm going to just refer to them as fashion police. I do like it that they're getting more attention, but how long is that going to last in the long run? They're going to get this one shot at the Usos, they're going to lose, and they're going to fade again.
You think they're going to lose?
Yeah.
Because the way I see Usos are fucking just dead weight at this point.
Well, I don't have much good to say about the Usos
like ever
either.
since I liked them, you know, back when they had on the matching clothes and everything. Not the jeans and a fucking A-shirt or a wife beater, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And all the reviews I watched online, people liked that fucking promo the best out of the entire show. The 12 days, and I thought that was stupid as fuck.
I'm gonna say my point about him.
Like how
if you're supposed to
how
come
the
off,
fuck are you so still over?
if you're supposed to come off as a heel, you are stone cold serious when you are threatening your opponent. You are not cracking up because your partner is making you laugh or what have you by this 12-day bullshit that they did this week. It was ridiculous. There was no way they came off as heels. Like I said in my in my SmackDown review, throw the fucking face paint back on if you want to be a fucking clown. Throw it back on because you are not a heel. A heel is going to come out there, he's going to threaten you, and the fans are going to believe it because you're going to look your opponent in the eye and say, come 12 days, by the time we're done with you, you're either going to not be leaving this ring on your own accord, or you're going to be we're going to make sure you're hurt one way or another, you know? Something around that line. You are not going to go in 12 days, and your partner's laughing it up because he can't stay serious because it sounds like you're a fucking repetitive retard. You know? You can call the Usos whatever you want. If they're supposed to be heel, they are heel light.
There's so many wrestlers and factions that are on the wrong side right now, in my honest opinion. We have Dolph Ziggler, who plays a hell of a babyface. They're trying to make him a heel. They can't get anything to stick with him. He's losing his credibility day by day. We have Roman Reigns, which everyone wants to see heel. They wouldn't turn Cena heel either. It makes no fucking sense to me, but they'll fucking turn CM Punk fucking heel.
Yep.
What the fuck's wrong with them?
See, the problem is...
You know, just so the Rock has them be the person.
The problem is they don't want to use that term anymore. They don't want heroes and villains. They don't want black and white. They want neutral. They want the gray area. Everyone wants to skirt the gray area. And in my opinion, that is where wrestling started to fail. Yes, you could have guys that walk that fine line between good and evil. But in the majority of wrestling, it was always the good versus the evil trying to overcome the light. You know, that's what made it work. And that's what they fell away from. And they lost a lot when that happened.
I agree with you. We have, look at Ric Flair, the entire, the decade of the 80s. You know, the most hated fucking heel everywhere.
Yep.
Everyone hated Ric Flair. Everyone wanted to see Ric Flair get his ass kicked. And he was a fucking heel. You know, he was a good fucking heel. That's what a good heel is. Heels kind of, it used to be, right?
Yep.
Heels used to fucking have to carry guns with them. That shit doesn't happen anymore. You know, Jim Cornette will talk about it on his podcast. He used to have to carry a gun with him because he said he's gotten stabbed 12 times throughout his fucking career. And that all stopped after Vince McMahon came on, live TV and said, we at the World Wrestling Federation think you're tired of having your intelligence insulted. Well, bitch, now I really feel insulted because I'm watching some dumb bullshit. No. You can't even follow it half the time. You have to watch it you shouldn't have to watch wrestling 2 or 3 times to fucking get it. This isn't fucking Doctor Who. Alright? not Doctor Who. It's not some epic fucking movie. It's fucking just fed up with the whole fact at this point.
No, and the people that are watching and people that are going to be watching, I'm going to explain why we keep on kind of dipping into the old era. And it was this week in itself why we keep on dipping into it, because this week showed us very clearly that the creative and Vince McMahon have lost touch with what wrestling is supposed to be. Now, you have 3 top matches that were pay-per-view quality matches on Raw, and you can't keep people awake. That's a problem. You need to start looking at the past to improve the future. And they need to take a serious look at what they used to be and try and bring that back. This PG era bullshit, it needs to go. In a bad way.
This isn't the PG era. They call this the new era. And honestly, it's new era, same old fucking PG bullshit. You know, John Cena has never fucking gotten over with me. I don't care if he's gotten over with a bunch of fucking kids, and then the kids grew up and now they're teenagers and fucking adults. John Cena still fucking sucks. And I don't say John Cena sucks because it's cool to say John Cena sucks. John Cena genuinely fucking sucks. I have never liked him. It took me almost 20 years for Triple H to get over with me. Honestly, I think it was probably WrestleMania this year, and I know that's some shitty stuff to say, yeah, Triple H finally got over with me. It's not like I'm hard to please. I fucking like D'Lo Brown. That's all I have to say about that. You know, they don't listen to their fans. They're like, oh, this is how the show is. Like it, guys. It's not even the old wrestling that I want old wrestlers to return. I just don't want this bullshit that's on TV right now.
No, I don't want old wrestlers to return.
Make me want to watch your show.
That's not what I'm saying. I don't need our old wrestlers to come back. I need them to take a good look.
That's what I'm saying. One of us wants to return.
Yeah,
we just want we want something better than what we're doing on a daily basis now.
Exactly.
Right?
Like,
that's what you.
I've been watching a lot of interviews from retired wrestlers, King Kong Bundy, you know, and Bret Hart even, and some of the other guys, Demolition, and every one of them says the same thing. Back in that era, every man and woman in that locker room was over. They were over. They didn't need extra scripting to help them along the way. They were over because they had freedom to run their character the way they were. Yes, they would get incentives on what to say and how to say it, but they were the ones that made the choice in the long run. And you can't have that same respect, that same trust in this era that you have now. What does that tell you? What did they hire? A bunch of immature rejects? That they can't come up with their own gimmick and own promos?
This man has a severe fucking, ego. And it's gotten worse over time, man. He's at the point now where you say exactly what I have for you to say or you're fired. I've heard that from, Ryback said that. He said you can only work with the shit you're given. You're not allowed to change it up. If you change it up, you get in trouble. You get heat backstage for not listening to the boss. So what we have now are people to be followed blindly, you know? You can't have that. You got to work on your character. You got to get the other guy over too. Everybody has to fucking get over, and that's not going to happen with 50-50 booking. It's just not. This everybody gets a fucking turn thing is not going to work. You know?
Well, and that's one thing that was good about the territories back in the day. And I've heard this about a lot of the retired superstars. They said while they were working the indies, as WWE was growing into this big monster it is, the independents, the territories, I should say, were the place where you started learning about your character, building your character, and by the time you got up to the point where WWE wanted you, you were already built. They could say, well, you're going to come in as a cowboy. And the guy would look at him, well, I don't know shit about being a cowboy. I don't know what this saddle's called. I don't know what those boots are called. I don't know what kind of hat that is. And the fans aren't going to believe me if I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's the problem they have today. They put these gimmicks on guys, and it doesn't work for them. And they try and script them to the point where they're robotic, and we're supposed to believe in them as a character, and it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work.
And the thing is, it's never going to work. This is not acting. These are TV shows, but they're not your average TV show. This is fucking live events.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? This isn't like you're watching like I don't know if you watch Sherlock or whatever, but Sherlock's completely scripted. But the guy playing Sherlock, goes out, finds out everything he can about being a detective, and acts only in like detective roles. There aren't many versatile actors out there. In all honesty, you can say, "Oh, he's so versatile," but you look at 3/4 of the fucking actors in the world, and they can't, and they're not going to be able to wrestle. They're not going to have the endurance. They're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just they're trying to become actors, and they're not fucking actors. They're athletes.
I want one wrestler. I want one wrestler. I want one wrestler to defy the rules. I want one wrestler to come out there and do what CM Punk did. No script, nothing. Just drop a promo in his own words. Not what they're scripting him. And see what's going to happen with the fans. If they go over on his promo cut, WWE ain't going to fire the guy. They're going to say, oh my God, you actually won the fans over with that, Now, if they bomb, yeah, sure, they're not going to go over. But if a guy's confident enough in his promo that when he uses his own words, there's no way that those fans aren't going to go over. Either he's a heel or a good guy. They are going to accept it because it was from the heart. It was from him, not from some script. And that's what's needed today.
And the last unscripted thing that I've seen, I don't know if you watched when Raw went off the air the day after WrestleMania. Bill Goldberg came out and he said a bunch of stuff. He's like, "This is off the script. I came out here and I made a run of it for my son, and I'm going to say goodbye for now." And that was unscripted, and people liked it. Yep. You can't keep scripting things to the point that if you mess up your line, you start over again, which is what you see fucking happening all the time.
Yep.
Well, I fucked up that line. I better start over again. Or this entire fucking paragraph makes no sense because I don't know what the fuck I was supposed to say.
And if these wrestlers in this era were smart, they would look back at footage of what the wrestlers did in the past and learn from them and come up with ideas on their own what to say and tell Vince McMahon, tell creative, I have the confidence. I know if I say this my way, it's going to go over with the fans. They're going to believe in me more. But none of them have the courage to do that anymore. Yeah, you got John Cena. He's got the tenure. He can do that. He can, but these newer guys, and well, even some of these guys that have been around for a while, they don't have that kind of confidence in themselves to actually put themselves out there and say, look, if you let me do this, I know I can win them over. And it's like it's lost upon the McMahon family, It's like all these guys need to go back to NXT and learn.
New Jack, yes?
Yep.
ECW. He had a tryout in 2006 with WWE.
Yep.
He was supposed to be on an episode of Raw. before ECW was announced. And came in, I've heard this story. I don't know what podcast I heard it on. So I can't plug whoever's podcast it was. But it was a New Jack interview. He said, yeah, he was there with, I don't remember, Dean Malenko. He was there with Dean Malenko, right?
Yep.
Dean Malenko was the agent at the time who was handling an acquisition. He said, yeah, don't talk to Vince. Don't even look at Vince. So what the fuck does that tell you? New talent isn't supposed to talk to Vince McMahon? How fucking high up on his fucking high horse is he? Like, that's why they're failing. Until they're there for 5 years and they're over, he doesn't give a fuck about them. You know? Yeah. He has to care about his new talent. He's doing what WCW did. That's exactly, he's making their mistake right now. Don't build people. Use who you already have. And yeah, he has NXT, but once he gets his hands on them, his grubby little paws, they don't get to talk about, they don't get any, you know, there's nothing they get to say about their character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Don't do this move, don't do that move, use that move, don't use this move. Make sure you do this. Don't forget to plug the sponsor.
No, I hear so much about...
And,
you know, I hear so much about different things about this, and, you know, yes, WWE has good points about it, yes. But right now they have no competitive angle. They have no other company that's willing to challenge them and make them perform better. That is the biggest problem we have right now. So it doesn't matter what anyone says. They're not going to get that right until they have that competitiveness with another organization where Vince McMahon's going to have to say, okay, guys, I got to put my trust in you. You have to bring it for a change and put yourself over. That is what is sorely needed right now. And we're not going to get that for a very, very long time. And we're going to keep on seeing the ratings keep on dropping for SmackDown and Raw. Did I lose you?
It's like, you didn't lose me. I'm speechless, to be honest with you. The point was, New Jack said something. New Jack said, how you doing, Vince? And the next thing he knew, his name was taken off the fucking card. He wasn't on Raw. So, I don't know what to say or think about it. I feel kind of betrayed, to be honest with you. I feel, you know, lied to when Vince McMahon came out and said this is going to be a new era, we're going to split the brands. And nothing has changed, except now they have different days they work. Instead of Monday and Tuesday, they just work Monday or Tuesday.
Yep.
That's basically it.
That's not a superstar shakeup in my point of view.
And I'm still pissed off the fucking personalities aren't on Raw. I have to say that. Absolutely pissed that they're not broken still. I had faith that they were going to, you know, get them over being broken. I know that they think Jeff Hardy can be, you know, more over than Matt. But in my honest opinion, Matt Hardy's the guy. He always has been.
Yeah.
He's more of the traditional wrestler. Yeah, Jeff Hardy will jump off of anything if he gives you $50. I get that. You know, but Jeff Hardy for me has never been as over for Matt. That's just with me. You know?
Yeah. No, sorry, I was talking. I was talking to my wife quickly. She was asking me if I wanted coffee. No, but
okay.
No, like
nice. I had to get my.
We could probably go on all night about the issues that WWE has, and we probably still wouldn't be able to come to a conclusion how... No, we could come to a conclusion how they could fix it, but the problem is they don't want to fix it because there's no point in fixing it. There's no reason for them to fix anything because no one's going to put them out of business unless Vince McMahon just buries the company.
Well, there's been talk about selling it. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah,
Have you read that?
That was all, a lot of rumors, but he did say if the right price came along.
I'm begging anyone to please buy that company and help the fans.
At this
because
point,
Vince McMahon either doesn't have...
At this point, I'd rather have him hand the reins over to Triple H. Triple H has got, and William Regal have done the right thing with NXT, and if that kind of mentality was brought over to Raw and SmackDown, it'd make those shows a hell of a lot better.
I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, a lot of fans from my generation feel that Triple H has always been an ass kisser.
Oh, he has
I don't think everybody is going to be behind. Yeah.
No, that's one thing.
He is an ass kisser.
Yeah, Triple H has always been an ass kisser. Like, hell, there's a big story about why he got hooked up with Stephanie because of it, But that's besides the point. He does have a mind for the business. Yet his matches, he's only had really one or two memorable matches, but he does have the mind to handle the business in a way that the fans are going to accept. Everything him and William Regal and their creative team have done with NXT shows you that he's got the mindset to actually run the business by himself. But as long as Vince McMahon is alive, and it's sad to say that, but as long as he's alive, we're never going to see what Triple H could actually do with the whole fucking brand,
Well, I have a question for you. Just while we're on the subject of Triple H. You told me before we went on the air he's only had one or two memorable matches. What is your number one match for Triple H?
That would be the Hell in a Cell match he had with Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee. That is where I believe also where Undertaker should have retired. That was Undertaker's last best fight, and that's where I think Undertaker should have retired. And it was the only memorable match for me when it comes to Triple H. The rest of them, they can go fuck themselves. They were terrible.
Hey, I loved Royal Rumble 2000, Cactus Jack, Triple H. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. And I'm sorry, we disagree on that.
Oh, no, you don't need to apologize.
Triple H pedigreeing Mick Foley onto thumbtacks. And getting all those thumbtacks in his knees and doing so right after he had surgery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It worked out for me. And, that's just me. But I was always a Mick Foley guy. Always. But I loved Mick Foley because he had no problem getting his ass kicked. He's been quoted in saying that, he wrote a lot of checks early in his life that he's paying for now,
Well, and obviously he is.
But Booker, I don't know that he's necessarily the one doing all the booking. I know that he's in charge of NXT, and he's running NXT, but is he booking? Or do they have a creative team?
I'm pretty sure they have a creative team as well, but I think he's got a lot more input in with how things are run than what Vince is doing. Vince is sitting on the outside.
Okay.
Vince is sitting on the outside directing, but not really paying attention to what's going on the show. He wants it done his way. Creative. They're not really bookers. They are Hollywood scripters that know nothing about the business, and that makes a big conflict of interest there. Now, Vince McMahon is always going to get over on his point of view how he wants it, so the writers always have to revert to what Vince McMahon wants in the end. So to me, it doesn't really help the business.
No, he's like power drunk, man. It's like he's drunk with power. He has no idea that he's even like it. He thinks that people say that picking on him. He doesn't realize that it's real. And he's going to have to take a step back and watch what's happening. Like, oh, that's not that great of a deal. He needs to step out of the fucking gorilla position.
Yeah.
And go do something else. Go play some fucking golf. You're an old man. Go relax in a hot tub or something. You know, go make a girl bark like a dog off screen. You know, whatever the fuck gets you off does makes you happy. And leave us the fuck alone. Yes, we'll give you money, but stop fucking trying to ruin everything.
Well, I got an idea. I've got an idea that me and you discussed a little bit. I want to bring this proposal to you on the show, and I propose we start doing it next week. So bend your ear a little bit and listen to my idea, because we have discussed this a little bit, but I want to discuss it a little bit more. Now, here's my idea. We take the rosters as is. We do a live draft on who we would want on our show. Say I'm SmackDown, you're Raw. Okay, those are both our favorite shows. And
yeah, I don't want to be Raw. Can I be somebody else?
You don't want to be Raw. You don't want to be Raw.
At this point, I don't want to be SmackDown. Can I be Monday Nitro? I'll be Monday Nitro.
No, we're going to be Raw and SmackDown. We're going to take WWE shows.
Monday Night Velocity.
We're going to take Raw and SmackDown. We're going to do our own brand draft. We're going to do that live on the show next week. And we're going to come up with the way we would run our own brand, how the pay-per-views would be scheduled, and how we would lead our first pay-per-view, our storylines going into the first pay-per-view, who we would choose to be our top guys, how we would run the mid-card, how we would run the lower card, and see what we could do, and see how interesting we could make our brands leading up to a pay-per-view. How does that sound to you?
I like it. I think that we need to take into account real-life injuries as well. If somebody's injured in real life, they have to be injured, period. I don't know if you should only do the current roster or if you want to do Legends, though.
No, so, current roster.
I'm going to leave that up to you. You can make the decision now.
Yeah. No, I'd say current roster.
And do they have to be signed by WWE, or can they be signed by somebody else as well? We need to come up with a pool of people and then pick.
Yeah, how about for now we keep it just WWE? I know it's light, but I mean, like,
current?
Yeah, we'll stick with the current, and we'll go from there. And then maybe,
Are we allowed to draft NXT?
Yes, we're allowed to draft NXT.
All right. Well, let's pick our first pick now then. Just to let people know, this is the direction we're. So it's your first pick. You can go first.
No, I'm not doing it tonight because I want to get the whole list of wrestlers. I want to do this right.
All right.
I want to do this right. I want to start next week.
All right.
We're going to do our brand draft. And I'd say, how many people do you think on each brand? 20, 25? Because you got to factor in...
Let's make it even 30.
Okay, even 30. Because you got to factor in tag teams.
Because I think they have 152 wrestlers signed with WWE.
Okay, we'll go with 30.
The last time I checked.
Yeah. And we we have to have singles division, tag division, and a women's division.
We do?
Yep.
All right. Do they have to be dating?
Do they have to what?
Because that's where I'm at right now. I don't know. Do we book scandals?
No, we don't book scandals. No.
I'm thinking they're booking scandals right now. They're booking scandals, man. I don't even care what they say. They're leaking these fucking pictures.
It'd be like our own little.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think.
No, it'd be like our own, like, I don't know, just, it's like building your own baseball team for a season, you know?
Coffee.
Thank you. And treat it like that,
Right.
and then each week we tell, you know, what big stories are going to happen in the brand, and the big feuds, and how it's going to lead into the next week. The next week we go on, you know, until we get up to, like, the first pay-per-view.
Yep.
And see how we go from there, you know.
All right.
Put some thought into it, make it look good, make it seem good, and see if we could, you know, do better as bookers and WWE television, as you might call it, a fantasy, you know, wrestling league.
I don't see how this isn't a thing. We have fantasy football, but not fantasy wrestling.
Yeah. No, I think that's what we could do. You know, see what we could do on our own. Make it how the way we would want it. See if it would be more interesting our way, or, you know, what they're doing now.
I agree with you there.
So, any other thoughts on?
I don't think it can be more than this right now.
No. Well, we're at an hour.
You know what I mean? I don't think it can be much.
We're at an hour and 51 minutes. So, do you have anything else you want to discuss today, or should we call it that?
I have one more thing that I wanted to bring up. Give me a second. I have an article here that I haven't talked to you about, but
Okay.
London SmackDown. More fire JBL chance, you know, which is something I think we're going to see for a while now. In all honesty, I don't think it's going to blow over. I think they're gradually taking him off of TV. They just don't have anybody to replace him at this time. What do you recommend doing? Who could they bring back or put in for commentary? And please don't say Mike Tenay. Please.
Say Mike Tenay. You know.
Oh, and fuck Don West as well. I don't like either one of those.
God, no, Don West. Jesus Christ, that guy needs to choke on his own dick and die. You know,
Just find it.
with all his faults and everything, I would love to see Mauro Ranallo back. You know, he did an exceptional job, and they asked him to be more of a sports analyst at the commentary booth, and then after McMahon decided he didn't like that angle anymore, that's where the problem started. So Mauro Ranallo, JR will always be my favorite. Doesn't matter who it is, JR is always going to be.
Well,
but to me, you know,
not on SmackDown. Raw, JR is a small guy, man. Always has been.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever did SmackDown, did he? Except for when he did both shows.
Yeah. Michael Cole sucks. I want him gone. He's almost as bad as Josh Matthews.
I've met I've met Josh Matthews, and He's just as terrible in real life as he is on TV.
Yep.
Folks.
But I think we're going to call that...
I'd like to see a color comp.
What's that?
All right, bud. Well, I said, all right, we can call it.
Okay.
Guys, I want you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Pete's channel and my channel. You can find, I'm going to be, my link's in the description. And turn you into pillar to post, you know. I sure did before we started doing this. I was actually a pillar to post fan, you know. And I just I messaged Pete because I was doing a podcast, and he's doing a podcast, so international collaboration, fellow.
Yeah. No, I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. I appreciate everyone that's going to end up watching later on. Thank you for joining us, and remember, take advantage of the audibletrial.com /pillar to post or /heavyweight mark. These are free audiobooks and 30-day trial. Make sure to check that out. And like Red said, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button on both of our channels. Those descriptions are in the below. Yes, you are already on Pillar to Post channel, but make sure you respect Red and give him the same kindness you have given me. And please subscribe to him as well.
Before we head off the air, Pete?
Yep.
Real quick, make sure you guys, if you're going to be checking out the Audible, the Justin Roberts audiobook, you need to check that out because there's a lot of information in that about the way that WWE is being run in the last, 5 or 6 years behind the scenes. And you don't usually get that in a lot of books. He honestly believes he's never going to work for Vince McMahon again, so he has went all out in telling people what he thinks about the company. He already has his mind. He's gone home. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you get a really good view of the company.
And just remember, next Thursday we are live again. Hopefully we see more of you people in the chat. Actually, anyone in the chat. Grow a pair of nuts because we are trying to be as interactive as possible. And if you have any questions, please voice them on the show. Don't be shy because we're not going to hate on you for any question. And we are going to respond to every question posed to us. So please, next week, join us here on Pillar to Post for another edition of Shooting from the Hip. This is Pete Wall signing off and Red Rayner signing off. Thank you for another good night. Take it easy, folks.